Sunday. We got the dogs here joining as well in my in the Zoom boxes. So all is well. Welcome to Mindful Flow, and today we're going to continue with some of our Back to Basics series. And I was kind of looking for a more gentle one today. We worked a little bit harder on, Thursday evening if you were here, and then Friday morning for our in-person classes, we did chair pose, and we really worked up some strength and some vigor, and I thought we'd kind of take it down a notch today and enjoy just a nice, gentle yoga practice. So in terms of our basic series, it occurred to me that there were a couple of poses that probably we should have done in the very early Back to Basics, and the more I looked into them today, I thought it would be worthwhile to go ahead and cover those as well. So today we are going to be exploring Vittalasana and Marjaniyasana. See if I can say that right again. Marjariyasana. I don't say that one very often because more typically we know them as cat and cow. So cat and cow are usually practiced in succession with each other because they make such a nice complement for the back to drop down into an open back bend and then arch up. And as with all of these postures that I have researched and studied a little deeper as I prepare them for practice, there's always new things to understand and learn, even for the most basic asana. So I hope you'll enjoy this today, and then of course we'll get a nice gentle flow in as well. So let's begin in Sukhasana, a seated posture, and just let your body relax. I invite you to close your eyes, or perhaps just bring your gaze softly down your nose. The idea being that we're just making the transition from all of the external stimulation to a stimulation of the internal. The internal being of our bodies, connecting our minds, and using the breath as a beautiful bridge to our inner self. So just take a nice soft deep breath in and feel that glorious air and oxygen, strength, energy come into the body as you feel the cooling nature of the in-breath. As you think about the out-breath, start to let it out slowly and lengthen that out-breath so that you're really releasing all of the used and stuck and unnecessary energy in the body. Just start to notice how your body's feeling this morning. To anything that arises, maybe any little aches or pains or hitches or places where you feel a little tight, maybe tired. And then begin to pay attention to those areas that feel really nice. Perhaps it's just the grounding presence of your body on the mat. The strength of your spine as you allow the energy of the earth to rise up through each vertebra, walking like up a ladder, one by one, until your head begins to rise and elevate and simply float above the very top of the spine. This beautiful day, wonderful time to be grateful. It's always a wonderful opportunity when we settle down on the mat to find gratitude. So maybe call to mind something that you're grateful for this morning. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a special person in your life that just adds a beautiful dimension. Maybe it's a situation that's resolved favorably. Maybe it's just the feeling of the air and the sunshine. Whatever it is, call to mind something that you're grateful for, and as you picture or envision that thing, maybe let a little smile play on the corners of your mouth. And notice how that spreads joy and gratitude through your whole body. Just sit in silence for a few breaths, embracing your feeling of well-being and feeling your beautiful breath. Next breath in, call it deeply down to touch the very base of your belly. Let your heart expand, open your eyes, gaze slightly upward. Exhale and settle it all down. Let's let the arms come out to the side, reach them either direction, and then start to slowly lift them up. Fingers reaching toward the sky, the sun. Let them gently tap each other as they frame your head. Take another deep breath in, open your chest. Let your breastbone rise and reach forward. Exhale, take a little twist to the right, bringing your hands down and shifting your belly toward the right side of your mat. Let your right shoulder drop down, but ground through your seat as you inhale. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, and perhaps deepen your twist, turning the navel toward the right, spiraling up through the spine. And then come back to the center. Let's take that twist to the other side, just starting with a gentle little tug of the belly as it shifts toward the left. Turn and look over the left side of your mat. Inhale, ground down, lift up through the spine, and then exhale and deepen that twist. To the center. Right, so we're going to start off right away with our discussion of cat-cow and begin our practice that way, since it's very often used as a warm-up for a moving flow or for other postures. So you can actually hold off taking cat-cow for just a moment as I just bring in a few different thoughts and ideas, and then we'll practice it together. So as we begin either cat or cow, and again we're going to teach them in tandem since they're usually practiced together, we're beginning with a nice square box. So if you can see my back, hopefully it's not too dark there with that dark background behind me. I am pressing down through the palms, and my wrists, elbows, and shoulders create a nice line. My knees and my middle of my hips also are stacked. So we're creating this foundational posture in a box. And then from tabletop position, as we begin in table, we're lengthening the spine forward and back, creating extra space so that we've got more room for movement. So those vertebrae can literally slide right on top and move within each other in the best possible way. So we're creating space by reaching the crown forward, tailbone back. To come into cow tilt, a lot of times we just think about dropping the belly down and letting those hips kind of stick up, and then here's cow, right? But cow is actually a very engaged back bend. So what we want to do with cow, the belly does drop, but that's not the main part here. So with cow, we're pressing down through the palms, we're lifting energy up through the arms, and we're really creating a nice strong foundation. And then as we let the belly release down, we're scooping the heart forward and reaching the breastbone toward the front of the mat. As we do, we're going to lengthen through the front body. So cow tilt is a stretch from the chin all the way down through the breastbone, and then the belly, and then up into the back. So we're really lengthening the front part of the body forward, and we're activating through the collarbones, widening and really finding a nice deep stretch. So my chin is jutting forward. I'm feeling this stretch under the chin all the way down. As we shift into cat stretch, we're coming back first to a neutral spine, and then we're just going to arch that back up. Obviously, we do this all the time, but a couple of key action points here is to tilt and lengthen the lower back down. So we're pressing that tailbone down, lengthening like it wants to reach down toward my knees, and then I'm letting my head drop down. I'm releasing and just letting that head be as heavy as it wants to be. But again, I keep activating up through the arms, so I'm pressing up into the space between the shoulder blades and broadening the upper back. So again, a very active stretch here to create the flexion in the spine. Coming back to neutral, and then we go from one to the other. So again, just a couple of things to think about is really creating an active cow pose by thinking about the back bend that you're creating and not just dropping the belly down and then pushing it back up. So let's try it together. Come on into tabletop position. First, creating that really foundational box shape by pressing down through the palms, activating the arms. Come into table and lengthen the crown of the head forward and the tailbone back. Imagine if you could create, you can't really do this, but imagine you could create a ½ inch of space between all of your vertebrae. Just picturing that sometimes helps to bring in the lengthening process. And then as we move into cow, Vittalasana, we're going to let the belly drop, but we're going to really shift the breastbone forward. You can even bend or soften your elbows to help push the heart and the breastbone forward, creating a little extra space, but keep activating through the arms. Chin slightly juts forward. As you think about that stretch, feeling it right underneath your chin, and then imagining that stretch going all the way down, reaching and creating the concave shape back to the hips. Stay here. We're going to hold this instead of just moving right to the other. We're going to hold this pose, taking a breath in and out. Really feeling that back bend now, even more than perhaps we normally do. This also massages your internal organs. One more breath. And then let's neutralize, come into table once again. Stretch and start to lift the abdomen. So we're going to feel some activation here in the abdomen as we come up to table. And then we're going to lengthen the tailbone down as we arch up through the middle of the upper back. Now just letting your head drop down. Your chin does come towards your chest, but you don't need to stretch or try to reach the chin into any particular position. Just let your head be very heavy and drop down. But activate through those arms and feel the broadening now through the upper back. Almost like your shoulders want to reach to the outsides of the long end of your mat. Stay here. We're going to hold this. Keep pressing the tailbone down, feeling the arch cascade all the way down to the very tip of the tailbone. And then let's come back to neutral spine. Release those arms. Let's let them go. That's a long time to be on those arms and pressing down, and come into child's pose as a nice respite. Let's bring the arms all the way around to the back of the body and let the wrists really release and soften. Take a full breath or two here. Inhaling, exhaling. One more breath. Back up. Just a couple more things to say about this before we start to use these postures in our flow today. Again, I mentioned the internal organs. It's not just the back and the spine that are getting the workout here. As we move from cat to cow, we're really stimulating through the middle of the body and the upper internal organs. So the digestive system and the respiratory system both get stimulated and internally massaged as we are moving back and forth. So this is another nice benefit to cat-cow that we don't often talk about, but it's very real. The other thing about cat-cow to think about is that sometimes if you have any issues with your wrists, in other words, pushing down through tabletop, you can modify by bringing those wrists up on a block if that's helpful. Sometimes that helps a little bit, and you can still engage in the same type of movement. So just want to offer that. And also, of course, you can fold your mat or bring a blanket under the knees if the knees become sensitive or we're holding it for a longer period of time. And last, this is also both of these poses are known to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So they're a great relaxation pose for the mind and your whole nervous system. So they're going to promote relaxation. They're going to take away that fight or flight response. So it's great for relaxing as well. All right, so let's just go ahead and start to move a little bit. We'll get off the hands and knees and then come back to it. Let's lift the knees up and press back to a nice downward facing dog. Stretching now, the hips up high. You can keep your knees soft. Then we can pedal the feet out a little bit as we warm up the body and prepare to move. Keep it pretty gentle today, but we're still going to move and get everything flowing and warmed up. So pedal those feet back and forth. Come back to your breath. From here, go ahead and drop the knees back down. We're going to move right into cow once again. So think about those action points as you press down through the arms. Let the belly drop, but more importantly, guide your heart forward. Take one extra breath here as you lift that chin press it forward and feel the stretch through the entire front body. And then exhale, take it up into cat, arching the back up, widening through the upper back and shoulder blades and releasing your head like a heavy bowling ball. Right back to tabletop position. Press back to child. Take a count of 3 in child's pose. Or 3 breaths rather. 2. And 3. And then inhale, come back up to all fours position. Go ahead and roll down to your belly and let the belly drop all the way down, coming into a prone position. We're going to bring the hands outward nice and wide. So bringing your hands in line with your shoulders. Kind of create some claw hands or some cat claws with your hands as you press down through the pads of all 10 fingers. And press the pubic bone down. Just lift up to a nice low baby cobra, lengthening your head forward, nice long cervical spine, and again engaging in that back bend, right? So even in a low cobra, we have a back bend in place as the heart shifts forward, shoulders are down the back. Deep breath, and then release it back down on your exhale. Inhale, bring the hands back under the shoulders, press up and lift your knees. Take it to downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. Again, nice deep breath in. Stretch those hips back and up. Widen the feet here to the outer edges of the mat. So staying in downward facing dog, come to a very wide leg downward dog. And once you have your feet in place, we're going to take the right hand, slide the right hand backwards so that you're reaching that right hand toward your left toes. Point the fingers backward towards your toes so that your right fingers and your left toes are reaching, maybe even touching each other. Relax your right shoulder down. Just beautiful back stretch. Take the right hand back up to the top and you're back in your wide leg downward dog. Same thing on the left. We're going to take the left hand, slide it back toward the right toes, reach the fingers back toward the toes. They don't have to touch. You can just reach that general direction. And let gravity drop your left shoulder down. I know it's kind of hard to hold yourself with just the right hand, but it's a nice stretch for the upper back. And then slide that left hand back up. Bring your toes back hip distance apart. Inhale, walk your hands forward. Come on up. Walk your feet forward, rather. Your hands are already up there. Come to forward fold at the front of your mat, Uttanasana. Once you come to this forward fold, if your hands are, whether they're on the mat or they're on the blocks, I want you to flip your wrists so that your fingers are reaching backwards. Instead of the palms being down, flip your wrists so that the backs of the hands are reaching toward the mat. This is going to give you a stretch through the tops of your wrists, and it's going to feel nice after pressing down for so long on the hands. Breathe here, just let your head relax. Again, your hands can be on the block, so you don't have to be all the way down on the mat. If your hands are down on the mat, you may want to lift your feet and press them down into the palms, coming into full gorilla pose. Either way, we're going to bring the hands back to their normal position. We're going to now start to walk your hands up the body really slowly. Stop about halfway up and take a breath. And then start to walk your hands all the way up. So we're coming up slowly because we were in an inversion for quite some time. So I want to take it gradually back up to the top. Reach the arms up, out, and overhead. Full body stretch, planting the feet down into Tadasana legs. Deep breath, and then take it to Urdhva Hastasana with a little bit of a back bend, bringing the arms slightly behind the ears. Chin reaches up and forward, just like we were in cow tilt. That front body getting an energetic line of openness. And then take your hands out to the side, bring them back down, and forward fold once again. From this forward fold, widen your feet just slightly wider than hip distance and bend your left knee. Take your left hand to the outside of the right shin or ankle. Right arm comes into a T off the shoulder, and we're going to twist, lifting the right arm but shifting the belly, more importantly, to the right. Lifting the right fingers up, letting your left shoulder drop down. Deep breath here. Feel that nice twist and stretch on the right side of the legs. And then take the right hand down, forward fold. Inhale, let's come gently all the way back up. Slowly rise. Urdhva Hastasana once again. Take it to that slight back bend. Full opening in the front body. And then exhale, cascade forward and fold. Uttanasana. Bend the right knee this time. Take the right hand to the outside of the left ankle. Left arm comes into a T. Rotate your belly to the left. And then as you do, you can spiral up and eventually lift that left arm up to the ceiling. Remember that your neck can look either sideways or down. Keep it comfortable. Breathe. And then exhale, bring that left hand all the way down, forward fold. Walk the hands back up the body. We're going to lift up one more time. Inhale. Exhale, slight back bend, just letting the arms come right behind the ears as you lift up and back. And then exhale, fold down once again. From this forward fold position, let your left leg come back to a runner's lunge. Stretch that left leg back as far as it will go. Nice long runner's lunge, hands on the blocks or mat. Lengthen the top of your head, the crown reaching forward. Left thigh nice and strong, lifting up. Let the left knee come all the way down, stretching into that left hip flexor. We're going to first lift up with hands right here at the right thigh. Slowly roll your shoulders back, let them drop down. Activate through the lower abdominals. Steady yourself through the core, and then lift your arms up. First reaching the fingers north and south, just reaching them high, and then taking it into a little bit of a back bend if you want to take the crescent. Bring the hands back up to the top. Let your left arm come down by your side. Take your right arm over your ear and arch to the left. Inhale, bring both arms up, and exhale, bring them back down to the mat. Lift the left knee back up. Walk your hands around to the left side of your mat, coming into a wide-legged forward fold with feet parallel to the ends. Let your head drop down, but keep lifting up through the inner thighs. Strong lower core as those inner thighs work to support the body. Inhale, simply come up to fingertips. Lengthen your spine forward. Exhale and forward fold again. Place your left hand down below your head. Right arm comes out into a T. Turn the belly to the right and take your twist. Exhale, bring the right hand down. From here, we're simply going to bend the left knee and turn the left toes slightly at a diagonal and crab walk your hands over to the left, stretching into that right inner thigh. My torso is still facing forward, so I'm not turning around, I'm not coming into a lunge. I'm still facing the same direction. I'm just stretching that right inner thigh. And then walk your hands to the center. Same thing on the left. Turn the toes slightly out, bend the knee, and stretch that left inner thigh. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. From here, go ahead and walk your hands all the way back to the front. Step the left foot all the way forward. Come to forward fold, Uttanasana. Walk the hands slowly up the body, gently rising up. Urdhva Hastasana. Reach for that sunlight, the sky above, and take a slight back bend. Back to upward facing hands and forward fold. Walk the feet backwards. 1, 2, 3. Come back to downward facing dog. Stretch those hips high this time, maybe keeping the legs a little straighter as you stretch from the heel all the way up to your sits bones. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees position tabletop. On your next set of breaths, inhale, come into Vittalasana or cow. Now activating that back bend. Think about those cues. And then exhale, let your tailbone lengthen down and arch that back up strong and wide for cat stretch. Inhale, come back to table position. Bring your left foot forward. Let your right knee rise up. Come into low lunge on the other side. Take a moment, firm your foundation. Lengthen through your spine. Nice strong lunge. And then we're going to drop the right knee slowly down. Just let it softly come down to the mat. Lift up, bring your hands to your left thigh. Roll those shoulders down, heart is lifted, and then your arms will gently float skyward. Deep breath in, take that back bend as you come into crescent stretch. Arms back up to the top. Bring your right hand down by the side. Left arm carries over the ear. Side stretch. Bring both arms back up. Exhale. Bring them down to the mat. Lift the right knee back up and walk the hands around to the right side. Now pivoting on your feet back to wide leg forward fold. Drop the head down. Inhale, come up to fingertips and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, bring the right hand and palm right under your head. Left arm comes out into a T. Shift the belly to the left. Rotate and come into your twist. Exhale, bring the left hand down. Same thing on the right side. Right arm comes into a T. Belly shifts first, then your ribs, and then eventually the shoulder and arm. deep breath at the top. Exhale, bring it back down. We're going to turn the left toes at a diagonal and bend the knee. Crab walk your hands to the side. Just stretch into that right inner thigh. Remember, you can always bring your blocks around with you as well. Those blocks can be portable. They can go wherever you go. Inhale, walk your hands to the center, and then we're going to shift them over to the right side, turning those right toes slightly out as well, bending the right knee, and stretching into that left thigh. Once again, body is still reaching over the right side of the mat. We're not coming into a lunge facing the front or back. Beautiful. Walk the hands back to the center, and this time all the way around to the front. Come back to a lunge. Step the right foot all the way forward. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, slowly rise up. Bring it to the top. Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing hands. Exhale, take the back bend. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale and fold. Step your feet back to downward facing dog. One full breath here. Inhale. Exhale fully. Inhale, come forward to tabletop. Come right into a cow tilt. Again, heart, breastbone reaches forward. Keep powering down through the palms to lift up and support through the shoulders. Lengthen your chin, your neck, your collarbones. And then eventually come back to a cat stretch, letting everything reverse. Your back arch up. Stretch and reach. And then come back to neutral spine. Sit back on your heels. Take it to child's pose. Full or extended, either way. 3 full breaths here to reset. Slide your hands forward. Come on up to all fours. And go ahead and come down to your belly. All right, since we're emphasizing cats today, I thought we would add on to our cat practice with a little cat pulling its own tail. So to do this, we're going to roll to the right side. I'm going to be turning away so that perhaps you'll be turning toward the screen this first time through. Support your head in your hand, so prop your head up in your hand. We're going to bend the right knee and we're going to bend to the right knee and let the foot come behind. So the knee is still pointing straight down toward the end of your mat. We're going to carry the left leg forward and straighten the left leg. So you're just bringing your left leg forward, and it's as straight as it can be. If you need to make it a little bit bent, that's okay as well. So from here, you're going to shift that right knee and the right foot back as far as it feels comfortable to go. And then you're going to let your head come down, release your head, roll backwards onto your back as you roll your left shoulder behind you and try to reach for your right foot. Your
right arm is just relaxed, and you can roll backwards to reach that foot as far as it feels comfortable doing so. If your hand and your foot don't connect, that's okay. They can be a mile away, and you can just be reaching that general direction. So this is a little bit of a stretch for the right quad, or maybe a lot. It's a nice opening in shoulders and back. Once you've got yourself in place, we're going to stay here for at least 5 breaths. Scary Halloween cat is now relaxing. All right, last breath. If you had the hand and the foot connected, release the two. Slide your right foot back down. Roll all the way back to your belly. Cross your arms in front. Let your head come down on your forearms. Take a breath in crocodile pose or Makarasana. Full breath in, just neutralizing, leveling out your pelvis, letting your belly relax. And as you're ready, you can roll to the other side. We'll set up, starting off by laying on the side, bending the left knee now, pointing that knee down toward the end, bringing the left foot behind. Slide your right leg forward as straight as it can manage to be. And then as you're ready, roll the right shoulder back, release your head from your hand. Start to gently roll backwards, reaching your right hand toward your left foot this time. Maybe you grab onto a toe. Maybe you're just reaching that general direction. Relax your right shoulder back behind you. This is also deeply opening for the front part of the chest, from the collarbones back into the shoulder. So it really engages and stretches some muscles that we don't often use this way. So be gentle. This isn't meant to be extreme yoga. This is meant to be something that feels good. Three more breaths here. The foot, bring the leg back down, bring both of your legs back down, rolled back to your belly. This time, instead of rolling down, we're going to place the forearms on the mat. Once again, level out your hips. Make sure your pubic bone is directly in the middle. Hips are level. We're going to press down into the forearms and come into one more back bend for today, and that is to come to Sphinx pose. So pressing down through the lower abdominals, let the energy come up through the chest. Chin is somewhat level to the floor, reaching forward. Your neck is nice and long, so there's no reason to crank that neck back. But think of your cervical spine and your thoracic spine being one long line. Let your
heart, reach forward. One more breath. Your head drop down. We're going to walk the hands a little bit further backwards. Lift the hips up. Open your knees wide, and let's take it to a nice wide-kneed child's release. This time, just letting your soft belly and chest rotate all the way down to the mat. Forehead will touch. Arms release. Breathe into all that beautiful space in your back. And before we leave this position, let's just slide both of our hands a little bit over to the left side. So keep your child's pose in place. But just kind of wiggle walk your hands over to the left. Take a little additional stretch into the right ribs. And take it to the same thing to the other side. Just kind of slide your hands and arms over to the right. And feel a little extra opening underneath the armpit and in the left ribs. Slide your hands to the center. Come on up to hands and knees. Come to your seat and grab a block. We're going to roll on down and try something that we don't do very often, but I thought we'd give it a try this evening or today. So grab a block if you would, come onto your back. And then we're going to come into waterfall pose. So we're going to take this block and start off by bringing it to the shortest position. So the nice flat end is down on the mat. And then bringing your sacrum right on top of the block. So you're going to feel that support in the flat triangular bone that is the sacrum, okay? So not the tailbone and not up beyond the hips, but right in the center. And then lift your knees up. First, just bringing your feet off of the mat, seeing how that feels. And then slowly lifting one leg, bringing one leg up to the ceiling. And then if that feels okay, bring the second leg. Hands are down on the mat on either side of the block. Now, if this for any reason creates discomfort or pain, please come on out of it and just take whatever resting pose you wish. Sometimes we build this up even higher in a set of 2 blocks, but we're just going to try to sort of take it easy today. You can play around with this at home if you want to see if there's a higher level that works for you, but for me, a lot of times this is exactly where I need it to be. So see if you can bring your feet so that they are perpendicular to the floor. In other words, not letting the feet rotate back so that they're coming over your chest, but trying to create that nice flat sacrum. And you're going to feel the energy start to drain away from your feet. Again, this is another inversion pose. So it is considered a resting pose for your heart. Change a little bit of the pressure of the blood, so just be mindful if you do have high blood pressure or something that might be a contraindicator for an inversion pose.
relax your legs, and now just see if you can feel how they are floating, floating, floating. Lighter and lighter. A few more breaths here. Stay here about 1 more minute if you like. Soften your breath. If your mind wants to wander, come back to whatever you were grateful for at the beginning. Wrap your mind's eye around that vision. And slowly start to bend one leg. Bend the other knee. Gently tap the feet down on the mat. Press down ever so lightly just to allow you to bring the block away from the sacrum, and then let your back descend all the way down. Extend your left leg down the mat. Hug your right knee into the chest, drawing the right knee towards your heart. Point your right toes. Flex your foot. Point and flex. Point and flex. Soften the ankle. Take the left hand to the outside of the right knee and draw the knee over to the left side. A little or a lot, it's up to you, but do keep your right shoulder down. Just an isolation for the right hip. It's not meant to be a twist. Bring the right knee back up to center and extend the right leg down the mat. Hug the left knee into your chest. Point the foot. Flex it. Point and flex. One more time. And then take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Left arm out into a T and just gently guide it across your belly to the right. Just feel that nice little gentle stretch wrapping around the left gluteal muscle and the hip. Bring it back to center. Extend your left leg down. Position your body into a neutral, restful Shavasana posture. And then begin to relax with your breath. Feel how supple and smooth and open your body feels. Allow the relaxation to roll over you. And find gratitude for this practice and this day. breath in. Bend your knees. Help yourself up to your seat once again by slowly rolling to one side and gently rising back up. Let's inhale, lift our arms up and smile, breathing in the beauty of this day and being grateful for all that it holds. As your hands drop to the heart center, may you have peace of mind and peace of heart throughout this beautiful, glorious day. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Shanti and Namaste. Thank you so much.
Yes, we did.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was a perfect fit for the weather.